Welcome to Bukit Chandu, a place of great historical interest. A mighty battle was fought here, led by someone called Lieutenant Adnan. Come, let's see what it's all about, shall we?
Reflections at Bukit Chandu is a World War II contemplative museum, which finds its home in a preserved black and white colonial bungalow, which is within close proximity of the former battle site, the Battle of Pasir Panjang, where 1,400 valiant soldiers from the Malay Regiment heroically defended the last stand against a 13,000-strong Japanese army. The center is a place for visitors to reflect upon Singapore's history of heroism. The presentation, through artifacts, exhibits, and multimedia, invites visitors to ruminate about our country's trials during the war and to celebrate how far Singapore has come as a nation. This here is a lifelike representation of the heroic and bloody battle fought by Lieutenant Adnan bin Sadi. Lieutenant Adnan commanded a 42-strong platoon from the Malay Regiment in the safeguarding of Singapore against the invading Japanese. Although massively outnumbered, he refused to surrender and willed his men to fight until the very end. They bravely held off the Japanese for 2 days amid heavy enemy shelling and shortages of food and ammunition. Lieutenant Adnan was shot, but persevered in fighting until he was eventually killed by the Japanese. After the battle was lost, the Japanese soldiers tied him to a cherry tree, hung him upside down, and viciously beat him to death.
There are many pictures, drawings, and carvings like this here in the museum, showing the horrors of the war, people dying, screaming, but it also shows Singapore as a happy place with peace and love.
This wall portrays a clear depiction of the cruel, inhumane acts of the Japanese. It shows them rounding up and massacring the locals, which is just what they did to Lieutenant Adnan. Now, let's look at a photo montage of Bukit Chandu. These are just some of the many artifacts and weapons used in the battle at Bukit Chandu, which took place between 13th and 14th February 1942, and happened on the very hill the museum is situated on. This here is a compass, which helps soldiers navigate their way through the fight. Though not of primary importance in helping to attack the other army, soldiers would be lost without one. The next artifact is a weapon, a mortar, which fires mortar bombs at low velocities. A mortar is similar to a cannon, but fires at shorter ranges, is smaller and more portable, and is loaded with bombs. Next up is a World War II rifle. They carried about 30 rounds and had a bayonet, which is a detachable blade. The bayonet functions as a normal dagger when not attached at the bottom. The Japanese often used the bayonet to stab their captured prisoners, but doing so is actually a war crime. The next two are metal statues of Japanese prisoners of war. These statues depict the anguish and fear of prisoners of war, for many of these captives had little chance of surviving the brutalities that the Japanese army enacted upon its victims. The statues also focus on how malnourished the prisoners were, and how tatty the clothes were. The last sculpture is one of a Malay mortar crew. Displayed just outside the museum, it depicts Malay soldiers trying to attack the Japanese using these bombs. But this strategy is of no use, as they were heavily outnumbered, and were no match for the strong and determined Japanese soldiers.
You've enjoyed this virtual trip. Thank you for your time.